In this video, I will explain a film called The Innocents, a film that tells the story of children who have supernatural powers. The film opens by showing a little girl sleeping in the car while beside her is her older sister, Anna. They will go to a new place to live because their father got a new position and was even given the facilities of an apartment. The little girl herself was named Ida. She woke up because she heard her older sister's rather strange voice. It's not strange, but her older sister has not been able to speak since a neurological disease attacked her when she was 5 months old. Not only could she not speak, but she also couldn't feel pain and couldn't even see well. Because she was bored, Ida started annoying her older sister while eating candy. Finally, the family arrived at their destination and Ida went for a walk outside to look around. At the edge of the lake, she saw a boy. But because she was new to this place and didn't know the people around her, Ida decided to continue walking around. At night, Ida felt that her mother was paying more attention to her older sister than she was. She forced her mother to sleep with her that night. She did this because Ida was still afraid to sleep alone in her new room. Ida invited her mother to talk, trying to persuade her mother to go on holiday elsewhere, but her mother refused because Ida had to prepare herself to go to a new school and later make new friends too. After that, her mother still told him to sleep alone and left the room. Shortly after her mother came out, Ida accidentally saw the shadow of a strange creature's finger. Coincidentally, Ida has a habit where if she is afraid, all the objects around her will look even more frightening. But this little girl still tried to sleep. The next day, Ida, who didn't have any friends, chose to play alone in the park until she finally felt bored. Ida looked around again. She accidentally met the boy she saw at the edge of the lake yesterday. The boy approached him and asked him to get acquainted. It turned out the boy's name was Ben. After they got to know each other, Ben invited Ida to see his playground. When he got there, Ben showed something to Ida and said that he could move an object just by concentrating fully on his mind. As proof, Ben told Ida to pick up a rock. Then he tried to concentrate and told Ida to drop the rock. However, the first attempt failed because maybe the stone was too heavy, so Ben told Ida to go back and get a lighter object. Ida found a bottle cap and then Ben made a second attempt. This time Ben managed to move the bottle cap without touching it. This made Ida amazed. Ida, who was curious, also intended to do the same thing. But it's clear Ida couldn't do what Ben did. The girl asked Ben how he could do that. Ben said that he just practiced every day. Ida just listened to Ben's explanation. Then they chose to continue playing. Upon returning home, Ida told her father everything she had experienced while playing with Ben, who was able to do interesting things while they enjoyed lunch. But of course her father only considered Herson's stories as children's fun. The next day, Ida wore a soccer jersey because she had the intention of playing soccer with the complex children. But the field looked deserted, so she returned feeling disappointed. Arriving at her house, Ida felt jealous of her mother's closeness to her older sister. When she saw there were broken pieces of glass in the corner of the room, she suddenly had bad intentions. Ida picked up the broken glass and put it in her older sister's shoe. Some time passed, and Ida heard the voice of her mother who was going to take her older sister to the doctor for a consultation with the doctor. Then she saw her mother putting on her older sister the shoes that she had filled with glass earlier. Of course, her mother didn't know if there was something in the shoe. Then the scene switches to showing another little girl playing with her doll. This child is named Aisha. Aisha was talking to her doll by herself, but the activity stopped when she heard the sound of her mother crying. The little girl chose to go outside to play because she didn't want to hear her mother's sadness. She started to walk to wear shoes, but it was very strange because when she put the shoes on her feet, Aisha looked in pain as if there was something in her feet. In the therapy room, Anna kept rubbing her feet in her shoes, which of course was noticed by Ida with her innocent face. In her chair, Anna began to move restlessly and couldn't stay still. When she returned home, the mother, who took off her shoes, looked panicked because she saw that her child's feet were injured because of the glass in her shoes. However, because Anna has a disorder, of course, she doesn't feel the slightest pain. Surprisingly, Aisha also felt this. Even Aisha seemed to be able to see a picture of what happened to Anna after returning home from the pediatric consultation. She saw Anna playing with a pot lid. Suddenly she felt herself being led toward Anna's apartment. Aisha just walked in. Seeing the doorknob that Anna moved, Aisha felt as if they were connected to Anna. At night, Aisha told her mother that she felt connected to a girl she didn't even know. According to him, the girl seemed to have difficulty expressing the anxiety that was inside her, but her mother only thought that the story was just her child's imagination. The next day, Ida invited her older sister to play in the park. Many children her age looked at them cynically because of Anna's shortcomings, which made Ida feel annoyed and embarrassed. Suddenly they met Ben. The boy looked confused when he saw Anna eating sand. Ida answered by pointing out her older sister's abnormality. Ben asked Ida about Anna. Ida explained that Anna couldn't speak, couldn't see, and couldn't even feel pain on her skin when it was pinched. Ben didn't seem to believe it. Ida tried to pinch her older sister and then showed Anna's reaction. Ben again invited Ida to play and they let Anna play alone on the park swing. When Ben and Ida were playing on a futsal field, an older child looked jealous. He approached and scolded Ben and even threw a ball at him so that Ben and Ida played elsewhere. While on the park swing, Anna meets Aisha. On the road, Ben and Ida meet a cat. Ben does something mischievous to the cat by wrapping the cat in his clothes. Not only that, Ben invited Ida to carry out a crazy experiment using the cat. They took the cat and dropped it from the top of the apartment stairs. After they dropped the cat, they went down to check whether the cat was dead or still alive. When they got to the bottom, they couldn't find the cat. They looked for the cat until they entered the warehouse and they found the cat, which apparently did not die immediately but was just dying. Ben, who didn't want to see his cat suffer, stepped on the cat's head until it died. Even though Ida had forbidden Ben to do that, Ida chose to leave because she didn't want to see Ben's crazy behavior. When Ida returned to the park, she didn't see Anna playing on the swing, which made her panic. With a panicked face, she tried to look around and finally, she found Anna, who was playing with Aisha. Then Ida asked Anna to go home, but Anna, who was still busy playing with Aisha, refused. But only when Aisha persuaded her did Anna agree to go home. The next day, Anna looked happy when Ida invited her to play in the park again. Arriving at the park, Ida left Anna to play with Aisha. She went to the warehouse because she was curious about what Ben did to the black cat yesterday. There, she found the cat sadistically handcuffed to death. Ida returned to the garden and found Ben sitting with Anna and Aisha. As usual, Anna was playing by spinning the lid of her strange jar. When the spinning wanted to stop, Anna moved her hand and tried to control the lid of the jar so that it continued to spin. Ida thought Ben did it because she knew Ben could do it, but Ben said that it was Anna who did it. Hearing this, Anna looked happy with the advantages her older sister had. When it rains, Ida invites Anna and Asia to see Ben's power, which can move objects just with his mind, but this time Ben can move objects as heavy as stones. And when Aisha entered the building, suddenly her mother called Ida to come home quickly. They returned to their respective residences. In the morning, they practiced their communication skills again. Ida whispered something to Anna, and amazingly Aisha and Ben were able to find out through Anna. Ida whispered taunts again, which made them laugh. Feeling like she was being teased, Ben became angry and immediately pushed Asia with his skill until she fell. Luckily, Ida was able to dodge when Ben threw a rock at her face. Seeing Ben, who was angry, Anna felt that Aisha was in danger. Anna tries to block Ben with her powers, but the collision between the two's powers can affect the surrounding situation. Feeling that Anna has the same power as him, Ben is a little reluctant. However, unfortunately, Anna was hit by a tree splinter which injured her. However, Ben, who has a mental disorder, is happy because he feels he is stronger. Aisha, who was in pain, Anna became angry and threw Ben out. On the way home, Ida said not to worry because her older sister wouldn't feel any pain. But for Aisha, who can listen to what's in her heart, in fact, Anna always feels pain but Anna can't express her pain. After that, Aisha tried to get Anna to speak to express what she felt. Anna tried to speak until finally she could speak even though she still stammered, which made them happy because Anna could express the pain she was suffering. When Ida got home, Ida tried to trick her mother and said that Anna had fallen while playing. Of course, her mother didn't believe that excuse and thought Ida was lying. Mother took Anna to treat her wound until a few moments later Mother came to Ida in her room and apologized for scolding her. Ida told her mother that Anna had made progress and could talk. Seeing that her mother didn't believe Ida, then persuaded her older sister to greet her mother. Seeing Ida continuing to insist, the mother became angry and thought Ida had lied. Amidst her disappointment, an annoyed Ida went straight into the room. On the other hand, Ben was having breakfast with his mother, who was cooking hot water while playing on her cell phone. Ben was bored, trying his skill at using a pan. It was seen that the pan was moving on its own, surprising his mother, while Ben was enjoying playing with his mother. Ben's mother, who saw her son laughing, was angry. Ben then made a frying pan fall and hit his mother on the head, causing her to bleed and faint. It didn't stop there. Ben did something even more extreme. He spilled a pot of hot water that was being boiled and hit his mother's leg, who was fainting. After doing this to his mother, Ben looked sorry and cleaned his mother's wound, which looked serious. The next day, Anna was seen playing with tap water in the kitchen. At that moment, Anna did something that made no sense. She seemed to move the water with her finger. After that, the mother accompanied Anna to play outside with Aisha. Then she accidentally heard Anna's voice talking to Aisha, and the mother immediately approached them. Mother was very surprised to hear that Anna could speak so fluently, but her mother didn't know that Anna could speak because of Aisha's help. Mother was happy to hear Anna's voice. It turned out that what Ida said yesterday was not just bullshit. When at home, the mother started telling Anna to talk to show her father. Anna also talked to them, but this incident could not cover the happy feelings of her parents. But behind all that, it turns out that Aisha continues to help her friend with her abilities from a distance. Then in the afternoon, Ben saw the young man who had scolded him in the field, and thoughts began to arise of taking revenge on the young man. Now Ben can do telepathy. That night Ben was pacing around as if he was looking for a target. The uncles who were washing their hands in the room just below Ben's room, suddenly his face started to turn very sour and acted strangely. He came out and was seen waiting on a bridge while holding a stone. The young man who had disturbed Ben yesterday was seen passing by the bridge. He was a little surprised when he saw the uncle's strange behavior. The uncle followed him from behind and immediately hit the young man with a stone. This incident made everyone forbid their children from playing on the bridge, including Aisha and Ida. Ida was still allowed to go out to play on the condition that she did not cross the bridge. But out of curiosity, she disobeyed her mother's orders and still went to the bridge and saw fresh blood splatters. She also saw Ben, who was watching her from a distance. Ida went back to playing with Ben. The boy said that his skills were getting better. Ben said that he could convince other people to do what he wanted. Ida, who was curious, asked Ben to do this to himself as proof. Ben began to concentrate to focus his thoughts. Ida, who was still smiling, suddenly turned gloomy and unconsciously walked as Ben ordered. Ida was amazed to see Ben's growing abilities. Ben told Ida to hold a piece of wood and start carrying out his actions until the wood broke. Ida is increasingly amazed by Ben. A short time later, they saw the complex's children playing football. Ben started acting up to test his abilities on a child who was playing. But Aisha and Anna sensed his actions. They felt that Ben would do something bad. And sure enough, in a split second one of the child's legs was broken because of Ben's actions. Ida was really surprised to see her friend's increasingly uncontrollable behavior. Ben felt that someone was challenging him from inside the forest. There he saw Aisha coming and told him to stop doing that. But of course, Aisha's strength is not comparable to hers, so Ben throws stones at Aisha with his abilities. Then Ben strangled Aisha until the little girl looked very hard to breathe. Ida immediately encouraged Ben to disrupt his concentration so he could free Aisha. Ben was very angry because Ida was interfering in his affairs. Until Anna arrived, Ben seemed afraid of Anna and immediately left. When he arrived home, Ben, who was scared, started to become hysterical because he was not strong enough to fight the power that Anna had. In the afternoon, Aisha used her telepathy to warn Anna and Ida that now Ben would try to hurt them through other people. Aisha is also sure that Ben will use his abilities to carry out his actions. Ida and Anna intended to go out that night to meet Aisha, but their mother forbade them because it was already late. Aisha knew that Anna and Ida couldn't go out tonight for fear of something untoward happening. Aisha asked to sleep with her mother. She was lying in bed but couldn't sleep while her mother was still taking care of the housework. In his room, Ben prepares to carry out his action to finish off Aisha. Aisha's mother, who was standing staring outside, was shocked because the lights suddenly went out. Her mother was already under Ben's influence. In a state that had been influenced by Ben, she saw a strange shadow wandering around her house. Afraid that the figure would hurt Aisha, her mother carried a kitchen knife while looking for the figure. Mother immediately panicked when the figure stood in front of her, which was Aisha. The mother, who had been blinded by Ben's strength, started to approach Aisha and stab the little girl. Ben also succeeded in carrying out his evil act. At that moment, Anna panicked and screamed in pain when she felt what Aisha was experiencing. Aisha's mother, who was already aware of Ben's influence, started to panic when she saw her child's condition, but unfortunately, Aisha couldn't survive and began to become unconscious. At home, Anna is being comforted by her family. Anna looks hysterical after feeling Aisha's death. Ida's family, who heard the news of Aisha's death, also went to the funeral. After eating, Ida and her family were followed by a man who looked very angry, but they ignored him. Ida was very scared because she knew that all of this was Ben's doing. She then wanted to tell her parents everything, but she was sure that her parents would not believe it. In the morning, Ida went to Ben's house to invite him to play with the planes on the crossing bridge. Without any suspicion, Ben agreed to Ida's invitation. The girl told Ben to climb onto the bridge so he could throw the plane further. When Ben climbed onto the bridge, Ida pushed him from behind and Ben finally fell. This incident was seen by a resident, and then Ida ran towards the forest in great fear. The more she felt afraid that things would get more scary. It was like she was in the middle of a dark forest and was being chased by scary people until she kept running towards the road and was almost hit by a passing car. When Ida realized that she was already in the hospital because her leg was broken, Ida saw her bandaged leg. In the middle of her thoughts, her mother said that Ben had also survived the accident they experienced. This made Ida panic and afraid because her attempt to finish off Ben failed. The next day, Ida was allowed to go home because her condition was starting to improve. Ida still looked worried because she felt Ben's terror. When Ida looked around from her apartment window, she saw Ben standing in front of the apartment. Ida began to imagine bad things. When she looked at her mother, she felt that her mother had been influenced by Ben. She then ran and locked herself in the cupboard. However, with Anna's strength, her mother was able to regain consciousness. But when Ida came out, she didn't see anyone at home. With a limp walk, Ida began looking for her sister's whereabouts. Meanwhile, Anna, who had felt Ben's presence, began looking for the boy's whereabouts. At that moment, Ben, who felt Anna's presence across the lake, felt challenged. Ben prepared himself to fight Anna. He began to concentrate until Anna fell limp. Meanwhile, Ida, who was panicking about her older sister's condition, started trying to remove the cast on her leg. Unexpectedly, the cast on her leg suddenly fell apart when she screamed. Out there, Anna got up again and immediately attacked Ben. The boy panicked when he felt Anna's immense strength, coupled with the arrival of Ida, who joined Anna in attacking Ben simultaneously. Ben began to worry about facing the power of Anna and Ida. It became increasingly difficult for him to resist the power of both of them. Until Anna and Ida finally succeeded in getting revenge for everything that happened, Ben sat limp on the swing until he was unconscious. Ida and Anna returned to their apartment, and Ida began to understand the reason why her mother paid more attention to her older sister.